Hello everyone and welcome back. In this video, I am going to talk to you about the New York Times, and specifically, they've apparently changed their tune on marijuana. And I'll put a link to the article in the description for this video. But this is really interesting. So it says here, I guess back in November, this gentleman had written an insightful, their words, not mine, well thought out magazine piece lamenting that marijuana legalization is a good idea with bad consequences. I don't know if it's a good idea. I respectfully think that it was not, but there's no question there's been bad consequences. This gentleman pointed out that the absurdity that a culture that has effectively banned tobacco smoking in every public space is now completely fine with smoking marijuana in those same public spaces. Yeah, I agree. You know, my wife and I were in Denver last year. Everywhere we went in the city, it reeked of marijuana. It just stunk. Oh, and by the way, they closed the city down during COVID, and you go to these empty office buildings. But that maybe is a conversation for a different day. We were in New York. We got invited to speak to an event just last week. So, in January, and again, everywhere we went, there was a smell of marijuana everywhere. The end of last year, end of 2025, my wife and I took my stepdaughter for an early dinner down on Brickell in Miami, and there was people sitting there just smoking marijuana. Now I was tempted to go out and say something, but in an attempt not to cause an issue, we let it sit. But there was this just smell of marijuana. So I mean, it's apparently no problem. You can't smoke a cigarette, but you can sit there and smoke your marijuana. So it's saying here more than 61 million Americans use marijuana at some point in 2024. Almost 32% of those were between the ages of 12 and 17. That's a serious problem, a really big problem. The wider use has caused a rise in addiction and other problems. Each year, nearly 2.8 million people in the United States suffer from cannabinoid, and I can't pronounce this word, so I won't, syndrome, which causes severe vomiting and stomach pain. More people have also ended up in hospitals with marijuana-linked paranoia and chronic psychotic disorders. Yeah, this is what I've been talking about. And for all those people out there who've been sort of throwing mud at me, I'm a party pooper. I'm trying to tell them how they live their life. Listen, you could do whatever you want. I'm not trying to tell you how you live your life, but I'm telling you what we're seeing here. And we have a whole generation of people that are damaging their brains. A 2024 survey indicated that at least 11.7 million people in the United States had driven under the influence of cannabis in the prior year. 13% of high school student drivers had driven when they had been using marijuana. One survey published in October found that more than 40% of drivers who died in motor vehicle collisions tested positive for THC, with average blood levels far exceeding those considered to cause impairment. The use of marijuana invoked dozens of conditions, including depression, anxiety, insomnia, inflammation, post-traumatic stress disorder, swelling, migraines, cramping, hypertension, arthritis, muscle spasms, yada, yada, yada. And here's the kicker. This is why this is all going on here. Legal marijuana in the United States is now a $47 billion, with a B, dollar industry. In the state of Massachusetts alone, retailers recorded 46.3 million transactions in 2025. This is the reason these states are legalizing this stuff, because they don't want to leave the money on the table. And if one state legalizes it and they're making all this dough, and the state next door doesn't legalize it, well, I mean, there's a problem, right? I mean, so I'm just telling you what I see, okay? And almost on a daily basis now, we speak to a family where there's a loved one who is experiencing severe mental health issues fueled by the use of marijuana. And look, as a child of the 80s growing up in the United Kingdom, I did not think this would be a problem. Okay, I had a lot of friends who smoked weed, and for the most part, most of them went on to have productive lives. But the marijuana of today is not the marijuana of the 80s. This stuff is dangerous. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, it's fine. It's not fine. So anyway, with that said, I'll put a link in the description to the video with this for this New York Times article. If you are a family out there and you have a loved one who's having issues, call us. We're here to help you. If you have any comments or questions, and even if you want to insult me, as long as it's done respectfully, I'm okay. You want to call me a party pooper, so be it. It is what it is. I'm just sharing the information. Put something in the comments. If you have a question, an issue that you're seeing in your family, please post it. I'll be happy to make a video for you because it might help another family too. If you like this content, please give me a thumbs up and please subscribe to the channel. I'm putting out a video or two every single day so that you as a family can get the information you need and decide if you want to have a conversation with us about what options may or may not be available to you. And with that said, thank you for tuning in. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.